got a video on my channel of an Aryan Brotherhood gang member murdering another prisoner who had refused to beat someone up for the gang. And he doesn't have access to a shank or anything. And bear in mind, this is the Maricopa County Jail's security camera. The guard is supposed to be watching this, stopping any trouble. So what happens is the prisoner goes back to his cell. Everything seems fine with the gang members. The shot caller, what was his name? Van Winkle or something. He walks up the stairs, goes in the cell. A fight ensues. And then for 10 minutes, he just starts smashing this guy's head over and over and over into the concrete. And he keeps looking at the guard's camera like, what the fuck? You know? So the guard still haven't responded 10 minutes in, and then he just starts stomping on the guy's head and neck. And
the guards did that.
No, the guard, the murderer.
Oh, okay.
So 20 minutes in, the guy's dead. God still haven't responded.
Jesus Christ.
He picks the corpse up, brings it out of the cell, right in front of the camera, like he's trying to show it off. Tries to throw it off a balcony. It gets stuck in the railing. The guards still don't come. So he just starts kicking it and kicking it and kicking it and kicking it. And then eventually they come in.
He claimed it.
Because of the smell.
Yeah, when he started rotting and decomposing.
This shows how much control the gangs have got over the prisoners versus the guards. The gangs are in complete control.
So
yeah, it sounds like it.
I don't know if you know. Kyle did 2 months in a minimum security thing, and he explained guard motivation. He said the guards really, really cared about the count. Right? That was their big thing. All the prisoners need to stay in prison. Outside of that, everything was, they barely gave a fuck. They didn't care too much if prisoners hurt each other. They didn't care too much if prisoners needed to be where they were supposed to be during the count. And outside of that, no one cared. Is that your experience at these more intense prisons?
Yeah, the guards would have prisoners fight and make bets on who was going to win. And that race riot situation, the head of the Whites was this guy called Gravedigger. He was like a cage fighter, 6 foot something. He had like the devil as a puppet master on his chest. And there was a guard who just used to love watching him fight. And he'd have guys like pinned down on the floor, and he'd be using his elbows as chisels, just one after the other, into the person's face until they were just in like a bubbling pool of blood. And the guard would love it. He would just be watching it.
I'd like
that
too.
So
that's pretty cool.
Don't fuck with the count though. Fuck with the count, and you are through, man.
Did the guards ever use the other So I used to know a couple prison guards, and they used the inmates to discipline each other. You know, that people would get raped. And they're laughing as they tell me the stories and clapping to imitate the sound of the rape. And I'm horrified at this, right? Some guy is getting raped, and they're thinking it's a funny way to discipline a guy who's been a pain in their ass.
Well, like I said earlier, even guards who have well-meaning intentions, within 6 months, the evil, negative environment, that energy has absorbed them, and they become stone cold at first, but then there becomes this us versus them mentality where, you know, both sides are trying to get over on each other, and both sides have got equally insidious senses of humor when it comes to bad things happening to the other side. So yeah, guards might be like that, but you know, prisoners equally would make jokes about the guards. And if a prisoner intervened in a situation, let's say a female guard was getting attacked or something like that, it could go either way, you know, depending on who the shot caller is. If you've intervened on a female guard's side, then you're a sellout, and you're going to get green lit. Or, you know, you're protecting a woman from potentially getting raped, preventing a sex offense.
Right.
Depends who the shot caller is.
It's like, are you for sex offense or against? Because you're kind of getting mixed messages here from some of these shot callers. Right, both.
Depends who the shot caller is.
Yeah.
Raping Steve's in charge this week, though, so
Here's the in regular life in America, it's pretty uncommon for a policeman to be intimidated by a bad guy, right? You know, out here, they have complete authority, and if they don't, they just bring more and more and more cops until they get complete authority and overwhelm, and then bad guys don't get to push around cops. What about prison? Do prisoners push around guards? Do guards ever feel like they need to get in line, or they'll, I don't know, hurt their family?
Okay, what pushes around people from every profession to do with the police and prisons
What was that first? Did you
and
say
the
wealth
courts?
pushes around?
What pushes them around is money. And I'm talking the money from the black market in drugs. By keeping drugs illegal, a black market, they estimate it's almost $1 trillion a year. So some of that money is going to corrupt prosecutors, going to corrupt police, going to corrupt judges, going to corrupt guards. And that's what we see happen. Yeah.
Oh, so they're not necessarily intimidated that this Aryan Brotherhood could maybe, I don't know, hurt their kid who goes to school or their wife at home.
Oh, yeah.
They are. That's
the
part of
Aryan
it too.
Yeah, they find out where guards live and drink, and they send women to seduce them to bring the drugs in.
Oh, so they'll they'll get them to cheat or just do something that'll hurt their home life, and then
They'll
they
find a
blackmail
weakness
them.
and they'll exploit it. Yeah, yeah.